Y'all, we said 8:30, and it's past 8:30. And there probably some more people still down yonder at the Agribusiness Council breakfast, and that's okay. But we appreciate all y'all getting here. We got a quorum. Mo, would you say a prayer for us, please? He needs it. Getting Representative James back in as good a shape as he's in, and for letting him have Miss Faye to take care of him. We need to go on and approve the rules while we're waiting on some more people to get here, but we got enough. They just like they were last year. All in favor say aye. Opposed no. One quick thing is we have some new members. Miss Susan Holmes from Monticello, who used to be the administrator of Farm Service Agency, so she understands agriculture. Buddy Harden is the new vice chairman since Representative England has taken on that task he has. And Rick Jasper from Jasper, I can remember your last name and where your city is. And then Mr. Glenn Baker, who has the state farmers market in his district. So Barbara Epps and Tony McBrayer from Tifton and Jan Tankersley, who took Bob Lane's place, we're down yonder and will probably be on up him. Lindsay Thompson is our new staff person, and the best thing she does is send out the morning news summary, so I ain't got to read the newspaper, and I can just look through what she does. And then Ben Lynn is an intern from he goes to Clayton State, right, from Henry County. And everybody knows Wayne. We're glad everything's running smoother at Wayne's house, so we'll have him back too. And then the brains of the outfit's going to copy something, so she'll be back in just a minute. We have a couple of things we need to do, but first thing we need to do is we have one bill that we need to hear. So Representative Dixon, if y'all would pull out House Bill 42. Thanks, sir. Anybody have any questions? If you look in your folder, you know how these lawyers write up bills, and they'll just scratch out a code section and then tell you they're putting another code section in, but you don't know what that code section said. We went back and printed out what those code sections are, and if you have that kind of question. But if anybody has a question for Representative Dixon.
Chairman, I move good pass. I know this is an issue that needs to be taken care of in a hurry. It's something that's pressing.
Does anybody from the audience need to speak on it? All right, got a motion second. All in favor say, wait. Wayne did tell me he need to change one little technical something in the heading of it.
One suggestion, technical correction on line 3. Technical correction on line 3, after the word wholesale, insert the words and certain other terms. And that would be by committee substitute, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right, now we got a motion and a second on the committee sub by putting 2 words in it. 3 words. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Members on appropriation.
Remember me as your seat mate. Hey, I think ag issues just went to the top.
It did. It did. All right, Dean Angle. There he is. Come up here and tell us some good news, sir. I'm sure all y'all know Dean Angle from the College of Ag. It's the college at the University of Georgia.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay.
You gotta cut it back off on his squeal if he cuts his on.
Okay. Well, Dean, thank you. First, I appreciate leasing the Redbud Farm in Gordon County. I think that's a good asset use, and the people there appreciate it. But on the counties that don't have, or not going to have an extension agent, especially in agriculture, are the county agents adjacent to those going to be assigned responsibilities to especially look after nutrient management plans, significant agricultural interest in those counties?
Well, our plan to keep each of the offices open. It may only be staffed with a single secretary or administrative assistant. That person could collect soil samples, tissue samples, refer phone calls to other counties. But yes, there will generally be an agent available in another county to help out when needed. Now, I don't want to minimize the fact that the service is going to go way, way down in that county, a whole lot less than what it used to be. But there will be still a minimum level of service provided for every county.
I guess I'm asking specifically, like, an adjacent county. Is there going to be someone assigned to or given the responsibility to that county to look after those issues?
Some counties will have that, not all of them. There will be some counties where there will essentially be an agent having dual or even triple responsibility for 3 counties. It's certainly not preferable to do that, but there will be counties that have no one assigned to it from an adjacent county, and we're just going to do the best we can to try to get calls answered when they come in. But as I said, there will be a lot of heartache felt in those counties. We simply don't have any other options. As I said, we've gone through a very deliberative process in how we downsize extension, and a lot of hard decisions were made. We've tried to put our limited resources where they can be best used. But that does mean that there are some counties that will lose out in this process. And as I said, I hear from them regularly.
This morning, I want to follow up on Representative Maddox's question, but just want to ask a question about that ability to provide the information is so valuable to ag folks and citizens. Is there a way on those counties that may be potentially underserved to have some sort of access to resources over the telephone? Because a lot of our problems I know that I have on the farm can certainly be addressed maybe on some, just with a simple call if we can talk to a specialist or to an agent.
Yes, sir. The reason why we are leaving an administrative assistant in each office is so that he or she can route those calls to an appropriate person somewhere else.
I figured you thought of that. Thank you. As far as Dr. Maddox has been very instrumental in working with the College of Veterinary Medicine to make sure we address this tremendous need across all of Georgia for large animal veterinary medicine needs in our economic development in rural Georgia. When is the 5, may not be the proper term, the 5 slots, when are they going to become available, and how long is that process? Where are we in that process now before we'll see some of those folks already receiving that specific training?
Our inaugural class are seniors this year, and so they will be entering veterinary school in the fall of 2011. Is that correct? Okay. And so they will then be in veterinary school for a couple of years, so we're still a few years off before they start to graduate out into the workforce.
So I'd just ask that you continue to be an advocate for that plan, and certainly if there are any available slots, we can get some folks that may have that qualification that may not been enrolled in that specific program through their undergraduate studies, that we move them up the ladder and certainly help provide them their special studies to get that process moving as forward as fast as we possibly can, because they are critical to those of us that are have friends and neighbors that have livestock out in the countryside, and it's very, very important for us, and we appreciate your attention to it.
It certainly is a crisis. This is a real crisis for Georgia.
One last thing, though, like that in last year, back in again with the loan forgiveness, try to get you be one of the numbers we shine. So hopefully we get some of these signed. That man got it.
Dean, thank you for what you do. We know it's hard, but going back to the land and the farms, you mentioned 2 farms, I believe you're talking about selling, and 1 you leased. Will you explain to us how many acres is in each farm, and why you picked them farms, and what type farm they are?
Let me talk about the largest farm first, which is located in Athens. It's a valuable farm, a little less than 1,500 acres. We have a variety of land resources in the Athens area that we can use for alternative locations for research, including USDA property at the Watkinsville ARS facility. We also have our own farms located close by. But I will be very honest with you, one of the reasons why we have looked at that farm, and as I think maybe it was Dillinger who used to say, we rob banks because that's where the money is. We are partially selling this farm because that's where the money is as well. Our infrastructure, and I'd invite any of you to visit any of our farms, is in horrible disrepair. And it's very hard to find funds elsewhere to renovate our infrastructure, and so we had to look where the money was. The farm in Griffin, it's not really a farm, it's a piece of another farm that's been cut off by a road. It's less than 100 acres. We can't get to it, so it's not used. And then the Redbud farm in Representative Jasper's area, that's 120 acres. 120? 600? Okay, thank you. Again, that's one that we have used primarily for animal and beef cattle research. It's not used, and we do have other sources of land and other beef cattle research areas that we can use. So that was one that we had considered selling, but as I said, an individual stepped forward to lease it and will allow us to continue to conduct research on that land. Simply, he'll be providing us a source of income to help pay for some of that research.
I too thank you, Dean, for the job that you do, and I certainly hope that when you start looking at getting rid of extension agents, you'll look at the farm gate value of each one of those communities and let that help you to select the ones you get rid of.
We have.
And please don't get rid of mine. But back to the question that Dr. Myers mentioned, is the School of Veterinary Medicine. We have struggled with that school trying to produce enough, especially large animal veterinarians in the state of Georgia. And right now we're only producing 1 in 10, I believe, veterinarians in this state. And I know this is going to be a political question here, but wouldn't it be better served if you look at your junior college and let's try and establish a School of Veterinary Medicine at our junior land-grant institution?
Well, that certainly is a political question, but it's also an economic question. You are correct that we do not train nearly enough veterinarians in this state for both large and small animal practice. There is a deficit. Whether or not another institution can do that, that is political, but it's also economic in that veterinary teaching programs are very, very expensive. And I've talked to both my friends at Fort Valley State University as well as the College of Veterinary Medicine have an idea of what it would cost to establish a new program. And I don't want to speak for you, but frankly I think it's probably beyond the budget of the state, at least in the short term.
But isn't it true that we have people with degrees there that already would be in line to walk right into the School of Veterinary Medicine?
At Fort Valley?
Yes.
Yes, there are individuals there who have veterinary degrees and would be capable of serving in the College of Veterinary Medicine.
And where would this huge additional expense, where would it come from?
I don't know. Can't answer that.
I got time about one more thing. I'm going to try to get
Dean, I guess mine's a little different from these others, but the necessary cutbacks in your extension agents, we all know that 4-H students excel far beyond their peers, basically, in graduation rates, etc. How is this going to impact the 4-H program with the cutbacks and extension?
Well, part of the process for deciding where we would leave our extension agents in our formula was the number of students in 4-H in that particular county in either clubs or served through the schools. So that was part of our formula. And so those counties that had small clubs, or on occasion no clubs, that 4-H agent will most likely be removed from that county and moved to a county where there are larger numbers of 4-H kids. So there will be a loss service, but as I said, we've tried to do it in an honest way so that we are minimizing the impact on the children that we serve of the state.
To follow up on an earlier question, then, is there any possibility that there can be an overlap? In other words, an agent that would move to a more populous 4-H county could maybe help those counties that no longer have an agent?
Yes, sir. Our plan is to make sure that every child who wants to be in a 4-H club has that opportunity. But unfortunately, a lot of children can't move or can't travel from one county to the next, and those will be the ones I feel worst about. They don't have the economic means to allow them to move between counties, and I unfortunately, the ones who probably need it the most are going to be hurt the worst.
Thank you.
I use that book more than any book I use when I go around and talk to people. It's got 6% of the modules listed in there, and I can order by county, by region, the modules. And Brian told me I on the website somewhere today, and I don't know how to do it. But he could probably tell you, you just tailor it to your county or your group of counties. Comes in by the module by county, that's how you do it. Come out with what you get to your area. So that on-gate book is an invaluable asset for agriculture as a whole, let alone each one of us. However, something that worries me is that we're doing a little flip the wind that due to the budget constraints, I get last year they print that book. John Kitchen do a great job giving us this great. I will continue to remember my days to get out of that book. The data in that book, the actual business is in good shape for years. It's factual. But when you got hard data like what's in that book, somebody in the county, hard to argue. What's happening in the state is hard to see. Thank you and all your staff for doing what y'all do. Any y'all have any questions? Susan or Dean or any of the staff, I'm sure they'll be glad to talk to you. So, thank you for coming. As always, any of us are appreciated too. You gotta know what's present on your desk. And Randy Moore is the director of Agri Center down at Perry, and he was going to bring us up to speed on that. But while he's walking up in the city, the city got a promotion from the governor's office over to the Department of Agriculture. He is Gary's liaison to us with the department. So I want all y'all to see who you need to talk to or who's going to be coming to you when you got that. They have issues on what we have issues.
That's right. I look forward to working with all of you.
I felt like I was getting ready to go duck hunting this morning. I had to get up so early. But I tell you, it's a pleasure to be here, and thank y'all thank you, Mr. Chairman, and the committee for inviting me. It's great to be back in the birthplace of the program that I represent. As most of y'all, I assume some of y'all may not know, because actually it was the Georgia Agricultural Exposition Authority was created by an act of the legislature in 1984, and it held its first rodeo in 1989 and the first fair in 1990, and so we've had 21 fairs at this point and working on the 22nd one at this time. We've gone from the state having to support the program initially at around 70% to where we now generate about 85% of our own revenues through the events that we host there. I'm not sure, I'll tell you, when you look at our business model, and over 50% of our budget is generated through an 11-day outdoor event. So it's what's our greatest asset is also our greatest vulnerability. So, but anyway, that's what we are. We were built specifically to serve the agricultural youth of the state. That was our number one priority, and we do that through the stock show and that we host for juniors. That is the state show, and that's what the funding that y'all give us is in support of, is the stock show and other youth agriculturally related shows that we host throughout the year. Aside from that, the agricultural events that are held there that are non-youth are also, we host those at a heavily discounted rate. So that's what the money that y'all give us every year it does, is subsidize those events. And you know, the commercial events and the fair and those things typically pay for themselves. And but we're very appreciative of the support that y'all give us annually. This past year we had our best fair ever. We had total attendance of over 465,000 people at the fair this year. It was not only was our best attendance, but we had perfect weather, 11 days of perfect weather. So we felt really blessed this year, particularly in light of the economy and what y'all are facing with the cuts that y'all are having to consider. We hope one day that we can tell y'all we've got it this year and that we won't need your help. And we're looking forward to that. That's the goal that we've been working towards. 3 years ago, we cut our staff 24%. We're maintaining that at this time, and we've asked people to do more with less, and we've created a team atmosphere, and we certainly recognize that we're part of a larger team as well with that type of responsibility. But it's just a joy to work. The best part of our job is working with the juniors and the junior livestock kids, and very enjoyable. I will give you just a brief update. We have averaged over 258 events each year over the past 4 years. And that adds up to 482 event days through the course of the year. Most of these events that we host are multi-day events, not just one-day events. We've averaged 815,757 people for the past 4 years. The non-fair attendance is around 382,000 on average. The Georgia National Fair has averaged 433,000 for the past 4 years. I can tell you that during this past year, I made a point to talk to the ladies from the Department of Revenue that were there collecting sales tax. They collected $363,000 during an 11-day period in sales tax alone at the Georgia National Fair. We, in turn, have to pay, the program has to pay an admission, gate tax for the admissions. We wrote a check for $147,000 to the state of Georgia Department of Revenue. So that's over $500,000 return in 11 days that's easily tracked. So, that's not an estimate. That's hard dollars. So that's a pretty good return, and you can kind of look through the, we estimate that the program itself on an annual basis returns nearly $5 million a year through sales tax alone to the state of Georgia. But one of the things that I know that's been on the top of a lot of folks' lists is our equine expansion that we've done. We currently before the expansion was completed, we were hosting around an average of 38 horse shows a year, and we've already increased that to 43 this year. This past year, the week after the fair ended, we hosted the largest equestrian event we've ever hosted the week after the fair, which was the MBHA World Barrel Race Championships. We had projected revenues of around $150,000 associated with that show. It came in at over $250,000. So that, by virtue of the revenue, became the largest show event of any we've ever hosted there outside the fair. First time out of the gate. Yes, sir. Oh yeah, and you know what we love about the equestrian business, it's over 70% of those participants come here from outside the state of Georgia. So that's new dollars into the state, and so we felt like not only could we, through this facility expansion, host. They typically the horse show business historically has generated about $1.3 million for us annually. Well, through this expansion, we hope to double that amount and also bring new shows. Y'all have given us a competitive edge where any major horse show in the United States has to consider the Georgia National Fairgrounds. And there's several of them out there that we are pursuing, and I think this is only the beginning for us. But that's my report, Mr. Chairman. Y'all got some questions. I would like to invite all of you to the stock show. That will start this month. I do have the sheet. The juniors will move in on Tuesday. Where is it? February the 16th. Well, that's a Wednesday. February the 16th, the barns will open. The entries are up this year. We had last year, I think, a little over 3,000, about 3,100 entries. This year, we've got 3,500 livestock entries for the juniors. They will have the barns will open on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Thursday, we will start the show in the swine showmanship, hogs, cattle market hog show. This is the one I've got but it'll run through Sunday. And I would really encourage y'all to come out if you could. I've got tickets for you to come to attend the rodeo, which that performance is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thursday night, the money that y'all give us also provides vouchers for the young people to attend the rodeo. And but it's a great event. The youth are there, their parents are there, and it's a great time for y'all to be there and see these folks, and we would love to host y'all. Two hours. Well, good. And if y'all can't get a van, we'll come up and get you.
Do all of our committee members get an invitation to the 4-H award banquet for the last time?
I don't know. Bo is here. Bo?
Absolutely.
Good.
And if you just need to go down to that, that's
Absolutely.
what you're doing there. One other quick question.
Yes, sir.
You say you're generating about 85% of your necessary operational
Correct.
income.
Mm-hmm.
Do you receive any credit for the sales taxes and gate taxes you mentioned, correct?
No, sir.
So basically, if you added that into the mix, then you are almost at a self-sufficient level. Is it?
In my opinion, we're beyond it. Yes, sir. Motor fuel tax, anything else? No, sir. Well, mm-hmm. Yes, sir. 1.385, I think. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Well, the program exists in support of the two largest industries in the state: agriculture and tourism, agritourism, and that was one of our. We had 3 capital requests that are long-range plans, of course, and the way it works is the staff makes a recommendation to our authority, and the authority either approves or. But our number one priority, of course, is the completion, the 3rd phase of the equine expansion. That entertainment pavilion was the 2nd priority, I believe, and then we had a signage and wayfinding capital request. The governor was kind enough and we felt very fortunate that he looked at the 3 requests and gave us, which I feel is the most critical item in there, which is has recommended $1.1 million to retrofit the existing horse barn, the original horse barn, which there's not a building out there on the grounds that's used more than that one and in need of repair. And so we feel very fortunate to get that in light of the reduction of the total bond package. But the entertainment pavilion is of course, I think it was priced at around $850,000, and it would become part of our rental structure, but it would also give us an opportunity to generate what we estimate to be around $350,000 a year by catching some of these entertainers that go up and down I-75. We can have an outdoor venue there that we could catch them. You know, a lot of times they'll stop and play for gas money, and but Middle Georgia doesn't have a facility similar to that, and it would certainly give us an opportunity to raise more revenue on our own. Yes, sir. That's exactly right. Yes, sir.
The question was, what would be your top 3 goals that you would like to see? I think you hit on them. Give us your top 3 goals that you would like to do for our children.
The number one thing, of course, is to provide the best environment that we possibly can through facilities and support of those events, the ag-related events for the youth of the state. Number 2 is perfect how we deliver this mission as efficiently as possible as we can to the state, and we're well on our way and have made great improvements in that over the course of the past 3 years. And number 3, I would like to achieve the goal of being the best managed program in the state.
Giving away a t-shirt that's fried with any kind of marijuana or anything like that on it. They get one time. If they go back through and they got it out again as a giveaway, they have to get it with no question. That's the environment that they have created. So the kids at the show down there, they have to walk through in the cold coat before coming to the class.
Yes.
That probably impressed me.
Well, we're trying to represent what we feel is the best of Georgia, and those values and a family atmosphere.
There's another aspect you ain't mentioned. Other fairs across the nation that operate big and cover maybe a high percentage where operating costs. So it's good that they sell alcohol. We do this.
That's correct. Tony Selye, yes, sir. Representative Selye. We've had good representation from this committee on the overview. And, yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's correct. 5:30 to 7:30. We've got some invitations here.
Thank y'all for sitting through this long meeting. We don't have meetings unless we have something to do. So we had a bill and I wanted Dean to come and Randy to come, and so thank y'all again. So we may not have a meeting next week. We don't know. So, anyway. Thank y'all.